Hello, good evening. Savva here from Football Heritage TV on this monumentous day. It was the day that was going to change Tottenham Hotspur's season and era, and it hasn't happened. I'm joined by Barry from Shelfside Spur, Brian from Tottenham on Tour, and Ashmatic from South Coys. We've done the register. Let's do the admin. Smash the likes on the way in. Subscribe to all of these free unsavory characters here, and subscribe to this angelic, beautiful bearded face that I've got as well. Guys, thanks for joining me. It didn't quite go to plan, did it? There were lots of talks today, guys, that, Bayern had flown over. It was going to be this great big negotiation. And then it kind of fizzled out. And I'll start with you, Barry. But all the noises coming out of Sky, from Romano, from Ornstein, Paul Gilmore, is that Spurs and Bayern are still 20 million away on price, and that Daniel Levy would like a buyback clause to buy Kane back when he's 33 or 34. My question to you is this. One, why on earth did they fly over to London if they were nowhere near valuation? They must have known this. And two, how sentimental do we have to be to put in a buyback clause to appease our fans? What is going on, Barry?
Yeah, look, I mean, first of all, obviously they flew over knowing that they were miles apart. So it was kind of what, like you said, what was the point? Second of all, they're having lunch in central London. The most, they haven't gone away, smuggled them off the plane and taken them to, the training ground or Lily White House, or tried to do something a little bit conspicuous. They've just gone out for, I don't know, a Macca's in Leicester Square. And Levy's probably Levy's probably offered him a Happy Meal rather than a Big Mac meal. But look, I think it just needs to be done. I think you're right. It's sentimental FC again now with Harry Kane, after what we've seen with the Dyer situation, the Davis situation. There's always got to be they've been great servants. They've done this, they've done that. I think my worry now is that, the sentimentality is then going to carry on into the game on Sunday against Shakhtar. Is it going to be done before then, or is he going to be wheeled out and, on the microphone saying how much I love this club and thank you, I got this opportunity, or what have you? You can see that happening on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be left with 3 weeks maybe to try and do some business. Obviously, Leverkusen and Wolfsburg are sitting there licking their lips, waiting and waiting for the fee so they can go, right, you want Van der Ven, you want Tapsover, here's the price. So yeah, it's just it's a mess, but we shouldn't be surprised.
No, we're not surprised. I mean, Ash, let me come over to you. As long as you finished eating, are you good? You're free.
Never finished, bro.
Never. Right, as long as he's got a pause on his food. You should have seen the food this guy had just before we started. Look, I don't get it, Ash. I don't get it. Call me simple or whatever, but it's 2023, right? Anybody who has meetings in 2023, you do not need to fly from one part of Europe to the other part to have a negotiation when you are so far apart. Do you even need to fly to conclude a deal? I don't see all these other clubs around the world doing this. Why is it so difficult for Spurs to do anything? Absolutely anything.
It's because we have the hardest nosed bargain negotiator in football. So basically, he likes to draw everything out. There's never a time where things get done instantly unless there's an opportunity. There's a reason why he set his mark so high for 120 million. Some people might ask, that's not high. I think they think that's a fair price.
Yeah.
But I think Bayern Munich, they flew over because the video calls sometimes are not as personal. So I personally thought that they reckon that if they come in person, they can renegotiate some terms. They can, smooth them over, wine and dine them, and somehow convince them that way. So I personally think that's the reason why they flew over, partly in desperation as well. So I think it's a case of, they know they need a striker. They were lacking in that department. That's the reason why it was so close to the Bundesliga. That's why Borussia Dortmund were leading for so long, and it took to the last day for it to get over the line, where Bayern Munich eventually won. But I think that's the reason why they're simply just desperate for a top centre forward. And I think Kane ticks all the boxes. I think for me, when I saw like his brother and his father especially, they came away very happy. You know, I thought that Bayern Munich, they thought they had it in the bag, not what they were dealing with, which was Daniel Levy. So I think now it's come over to Daniel Levy. All of a sudden, it's like, right, we need to kind of smooth over the damage that some of the reporters have done, that some voices that have said in from Bayern Munich. So I think it was a bit of them trying to smooth over everything, make sure everything's nice on their end, and then they wanted to. So I never thought that deal would be over by today. I had no intention, because the way Daniel Levy operates, like even down to like how he dealt with the Berbatov Man United situation back in the day, I just thought nothing's ever straightforward. He just draws it out, and it's a part of his negotiating skill. Let's not get twisted. This is how he does his business. He likes to draw things out. He likes to get as much perks, as much money as he can. And I think this is the way he just does things. So I think that's what it is in layman terms for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't disagree with what you said. I just hate the man. Brian, nothing's been said yet as to what this 20 million gap is, because all the reports coming in from both Germany and England before today were that Bayern Munich were going to come back in with what was a solid 100 million euros, which, give or take, without being pedantic, is roughly 85, 86 million pounds.
Yep.
Are we to believe then that that wasn't true, or that that's not enough? And Daniel Levy is saying, actually, I want like 100 to 105 million pounds sterling. Which one of those do you think it is, or is there something going on here? Because it's just baffling me.
I think Ashmatic's bang on. This guy just has to draw things out. And make things last. It's like he's a director on EastEnders and he just wants the storyline to carry on a bit longer. You look at this. This kind of happened on the other way around. Do you remember when Hugo Lloris signed for us? And I'm going to bring this up for the reason that when he had the...
I was about 10 when Hugo Lloris signed for us. He's been here that long, mate. I was 10.
So when Hugo came in, we bid 12 million and 12 million was accepted. And then when he got in the Tottenham Hotspur training ground, he said, no, we're paying you 8 million, up to 12 million on add-ons. And if you don't sell him to us now, we're just taking for free. Daniel Levy's just doing his tricks again. He is the master trickster. He's the master confidence trickster, and he's up to his tricks again. I think this deal does get done this week. You don't get on the way I look at this with today's modern technology. You don't get on a plane,
right,
to have this discussion when you're poles apart. There has to be some kind of added incentive for you to go there. This could have just been done like we are doing it now. Obviously not on YouTube, but via virtual.
It's like me inviting you three round to my house tonight to do this stream when we could easily just jump on stream. I don't understand, right?
Exactly.
I get what Ash said. It's personal, but surely that's the meeting you have when you're nearly there, not when you're 20 million apart, isn't it?
Exactly. I actually think a lot of this could be us trying to get a player in. I think it's us trying to get a player in this deal. Maybe that's what they were talking about. Maybe with this deal being so far apart, they're discussing alternative options that will bridge that 20 million. But unfortunately, this deal's going to go through. Look, we all know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, not if.
Barry, are you on that same page? Is it when, not if? Because I feel like my hormones are going mad every day. One day I wake up and I'm like, this is happening. Kane's going. The next day I wake up and go, don't be silly. Levy will never let that happen. Brian's telling us it's definite. Brian, we're going to clip that as assured Spurs fans he's going. What do you think, Barry?
I'm kind of with you. There's always that 1% hope, right? And that 1% hope that kills you, because you're sitting there and you're going, oh, they came over, but they're miles apart from valuations. So does that mean that he's going to sign? And is this all smoke and mirrors and everything else? And look, I would love it to come out and go, oh, the deal's collapsed. Harry's staying.
Yeah.
But I just think whatever happens, it just needs to get sorted one way or another, right? Because I think we're missing out on the things that we need. The things that we've needed for 6-7 years as centre backs. But it's distraction the club and everyone's focus onto this Harry Kane saga.
Yeah.
And the longer this goes on, the longer it's going to be used. And then we're going to get there and be like, oh, but we didn't have time because we ran out of time. We identified the targets. We were forcing through, or whatever the new word was the other day, forcing towards a target. And I just think that one way or another, I mean, it's great content because it gets us to talk about it. But I think that the issue is that it just needs to get sewn up one way or another because we're just, we're going into a home game that should be focused on Ange and the team and moving forward. But I still probably think, like I said, it's going to be rumbling on into next week and then another week and then another week and then the transfer window's closed and we still don't know what's going on.
Well, before I go over, I'm going to come over to Ash in a second. I'm going to ask you a question and then I want Ash to carry on from that. You've said there it's that 1% chance that, we want Harry Kane to stay. Do we want Harry Kane to stay, Barry, if it's just for the 1 year and he's not signing the contract? Do we really, really, really want Harry Kane for 1 more year if he's going on a free?
No, we want the best scenario if he's not going, for me, is he signs a new contract with the release clause, whatever that amount is, and then commits 2 or 3 years. Because then if someone does come in, let's say Madrid trigger Haaland's release clause next summer because they haven't got, they didn't get Mbappe or whatever they wanted, and then City go back after Kane. I just think that's the best in this whole situation. That's probably the best for me, that he signs a new contract, 450,000 pound a week, whatever it is, release clause of 80 million, and then it negates this whole he's got a choice, and obviously everyone, he's going to go to Chelsea because of Pochettino's there and everything else. So, yeah, I think that's the best thing. But I think, if he does stay, he does need to sign a contract, whatever that looks like. He can't just stay for the sake of 1 year and then, go on a free and then create, because it's going to start up again in January. And then it might not be.
It's going to be all season, Barry. It's going to be all season if he stays and hasn't signed a contract. And then what we're going to have all year is we're going to have those fans that go, well, hang on. If Ange gets us top 4 and if Ange wins us a cup, he might sign the new contract.
Yeah.
And for me, then it will just be these. I'll move on to you, Ash. Then it will be these constant excuses as to why we're not going to sign in January and why we're not signing now because Harry Kane's staying and apparently we don't need to build. Do you know what I mean?
For me, it's just logic. We finished 8th. When Kane came out and he said, I don't want to turn my nose up at Conference League because it's still a cup. And we failed to get Conference League.
Yeah.
What are we doing here, guys? Come on, what are we debating about? For me, it was done then. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So for me, I was like, all right, who's the replacement? Who's the replacement? Who's the replacement? Because, obviously, it would be nice if he signed on, But now, since then, we've got a new coach, and he has a different philosophy. And if we are going for a new start, we're gonna start from the bottom up. Some of these players have been here for how long?
Mm-hmm.
It just makes sense. So for me, from his point of view, he would have been thinking, I've done 10 plus years, I've done my time. He wants Champions League football. He wants to be amongst the top elite. If Spurs finish in the top 4 and he had another season, 2 seasons in him, it'll be a different conversation. But the fact that we've got a new coach, there's no Champions League football, there's no Europe. The new coach wants high pressing football. Not to say Kane can't press, but he can't press as well as others that are a bit more mobile. He's had so many injury concerns when he was pressing in that system. Since then, he's played a lot longer. He's looking after himself. His ankles are a lot more better. But to go back to that system when a club like Munich and the Bundesliga is there, are going to accommodate the style of football that he wants. Tuchel's obviously had a word, I'd assume. Obviously, Kane's not even come out and said, I want to stay here, guys, and put it to bed. If he had come out and said, Rob, boom, I want to come next 2-3 years, I want to stay, I want to commit, it'll be completely different. He hasn't
of course.
any of that talk. Not
Ash,
one. Go on.
Don't you think? Sorry, just even look. I've completely understood. We'll have an open chat about this. We don't need to keep going around in a circle. We can have an open chat about this. I've always understood why Kane hasn't come out and said, I'm 100% staying. I understand that because, let's be fair, he's one of the world's best strikers and he's going to want to see his options, and we're not in Europe, and Daniel Levy's leaving us wide open again with Eric Dyer and Ben Davis as a centre-back pairing should Romero get injured or go and play for Argentina, right? I get it. But all these people that go, it's definitely not going to be interested in Bayern Munich. Why have they, if that is the case, why have they not come out and squashed that? Do you know what I mean? Like, this could have been squashed a month ago with, listen, Kane isn't making any decisions on his future yet, but we can confirm Germany is not the one. Germany is not the destination. Does that tell us all that he is open to this move?
Go on, Brian.
Bayern Munich, I've got to say, Bayern Munich, no matter what league you're in and what club you play for, they're a massive goddamn football club.
Yeah.
The only difference with it is the league they play in isn't as strong as the Premier League. It's a good league. There's Borussia Dortmund. There's Eintracht. There's all the teams that they've had European success with Eintracht. It's a good league.
Yeah.
It's not the Premier League. And if you look at our recent history, you have lots of Germans coming to the English Premier League. I think Jude Bellingham, Jadon Sancho were the first two in years that have gone over that way. And that was to kick off their career, not to be the final move of their career. This guy at Tottenham has been here and given 10 years of wonderful service. Been our shining light, been the poster boy, been the goal scorer, been the England poster boy. He's entered football to win trophies. And unfortunately, at his beloved football club that he loves, he hasn't been able to do so, and he's been given false promises. Bayern Munich are a behemoth of a football club. Will they go do they always have a chance to win the Champions League? Yes, they do. Every single time they're in it.
They're always... Did you know, Brian, sorry, just quickly to interject on that, for the last 15 years, they've been one of the top 4 favourites every year.
So there you go. I mean, we're not even in Europe, let alone Champions League. If we were in Champions League football again, would he have stayed? Would he said, no, I've got Champions League?
Yeah, but will Bayern Munich win the Tiger Cup?
Well, do you know what? That might be. Do you know what? Maybe that's what that 20 million was about. That's added the 20 million on the deal.
The price went up because he scored a penalty against the Lions City Sailors. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. He's now got the Audi Cup, the Water Toll Cup, and now the Tiger. Tell me that's not a treble to be proud of.
Treble winner.
When you can go and win the Bundesliga, the German Cup and the Champions League. Come on. I hate this talk that, it's a farmers' league. It's this. Yes, it's not as good as the Premier League. Don't get it wrong. Bayern Munich are a bigger club than Tottenham Hotspur. Steeped in history, steeped in their it's facts and their history. They've won titles all the time. They are bigger and swim in a bigger pool than Tottenham Hotspur, and that's a fact, unfortunately.
I feel like Barry was about to interject there with something.
I'll just on the point with the Farmers League. Well, City have won it 5 out of 6 years, so isn't the Premier League a Farmers League as well? Then because it's just that them winning it.
Bang on. Do you know what? You go to France, PSG are going to win it. You go to Man City. Go to England. Man City are winning it 5 out of 6. I think the only 2 leagues that have had more than 2 winners in the last 10 years has been, in the last 7 or 8 years has been Italy and the Netherlands, if I'm not wrong. I think PSV Feyenoord and Ajax have all won it in the last 3 or 4 years. And in Italy, you've had Juve,
Napoli,
Inter, AC, Napoli, and Juve all in the last 5-6 years. So I agree with you, Barry. This whole Farmers League thing, I don't understand it. But I mean, Barry, where I was scratching my head with all of this is Harry Kane surely is too good to be at Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
Surely
100%.
He's too good to sit here at the age of 30 and go, you know what? I want the last move of my career to be a 5-year contract extension at Tottenham Hotspur. Because our fans, look, we're all sitting here going, transfer window's rubbish. We haven't strengthened again. No defenders. Haven't got rid of any Deadwood. And then we're like, oh my God, why hasn't Kane signed a contract? Well, for all of the reasons we just said over here. Like,
yeah, can you imagine he sat down there and he's gone, "Oh, Kate, can you stick on Savva tonight? See what Savva's got to say."
Yeah.
Oh, Sean's on there with Henry and Percy and Nagel on there. Can you imagine? But these people must see. Surely they must see. I mean, I've said this a million times. I reckon every time they walk in there or they talk about contracts or they talk about signings, Levy's got one of those Men in Black things that just makes them forget everything, and they tells them everything, and then they just walk out and go, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah, everything's fine."
Yeah,
like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to win the league this year, Harry. We're really good. Oh, okay, right. It's all happening. It's all happening. We've signed a new bloke called Eric Dyer. You've not met him before, but he is top drawer England international. Just quickly, before we move on, guys and girls, it's mental. There's 698 of you in the chat. Really, really good. But a bit like Bayern Munich, you're being really tight. 138 likes versus 698 people in the chat. That should be at 300 immediately. Get those numbers up. If you would like to subscribe, please do. We've only had one subscriber throughout this show. We're chasing down 8,250, which is mental because we only broke 8K yesterday morning. So smash that subscribe button. Subscribe to South View Coys with, this is where I have to remember everyone's name, with Ash, with Marlon, with Haz. Subscribe to Shelfside Spurs with The Resonator and with Barry. And subscribe to Tottenham on Tour with Ben, with Danny Kiramanu, and with Brian Daigle. And Super Chats, we have got Loves Music in the house, a big support of the channel. I said, unless these journos were there, how do they know? Apparently Adidas will fund part of this deal. Kane's Nike deal is over and Adidas sponsor Bayern. And that's a lot for me to take in right there. I'll be honest, I don't know where to go with that Loves Music. But it does carry on from this comment, which said, just arrived. What was the source to say this meeting happened? Sky Sports with Paul Gilmore, David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano. Basically, all the outlets are reporting that the meeting has taken place today. So I don't have any reason to distrust that. Ash, I'm going to come to you.
Yeah.
Does this open the door for the likes of Real Madrid? Because if Real Madrid are not getting Kylian Mbappe this window, and if I'm not wrong, someone correct me if I saw something today that he has until midnight tonight, Mbappe, to trigger a 1 year release or to trigger a 1 year extension, something like that. I can't exactly what it is. If they don't get Mbappe this year, are Real Madrid in a position where they might go, hang on, it's 100 million. We're Real Madrid. We can find 100 million. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, they've been linked with Kane before, and Ancelotti apparently likes him. So take from that what you will. For me, it's like, I'm pretty sure you guys have all run a business or you're part of a type of business, and it's never personal. Like sometimes it'll be in an ideal world, you do, business with your friends, but more time you're doing business with people that you might not know. And money is money. At the end of the day, it's nothing personal. And I see the same way with Kane. With Kane, he's a professional at the end of the day. He loves the club. And from a sentimental value, he would say, like, I want to sell myself and get the most amount for myself for the club that has supported me all these years, that be my boyhood club. So that side of things, he would want to kind of get that money for the club, rather than walking on a free. Then the other side is, he's 30 years old. How many years does he have left? Obviously, he's keeping himself in good nick. He's a professional, and we've seen how long Ronaldo has lasted. Messi looks like he's still going. So he might have more years. But as a professional, he's looking at his career, and he's not saying it personal. He's taking it as a business, Personal is personal, but business is business. And I feel like if Real Madrid came knocking, I think he would go 100%. Bayern Munich, I think because Tuchel won the Champions League with Chelsea in his first season, he has the kind of leverage to say, look, this is a far better team in Germany at Munich. When I put you in that final piece, we're going to smash it. We're going to have a real go at Champions League. We got to the semi-finals. The reason why we didn't get past it is because we didn't have you. So I think he will be sold on that side. But coming back to your point of Real Madrid, I think, if they don't get Mbappe, I don't see why not. He could fit in any club right now, any top club. Look what he scored 30 goals in a Spurs team, which finished 8th. Deep that for a second. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, like, if he could score 30 goals in a team where he had no creator, he had a poor defense, no midfield, just imagine what he could do at a top elite team. Do you know what I'm saying?
Ash, I think if let's just say he stays, I genuinely think that he could score more than Haaland this year. Genuinely in the Premier League with Maddison, Basuma.
No, not a chance. Not a chance.
I reckon he could, Savva. You know,
not
I like
a chance.
my wild prediction.
Nick, it's not happening.
I'll tell you why it's not happening. Even if he stays, everything won't go through him this year like it has every other year. That's the difference.
True.
Man City now play to Haaland. So Man City can adapt. Man City the year before didn't play to a striker. Last year they played to Haaland. Everything would go in there. Tottenham won't do that. You've already seen, I know it's a small sample size. You've already seen that I don't listen, I'm not knocking that he could score that many, but I don't know. I just fail to believe that Bayern Munich are going to be the only club that come in for Harry Kane with 1 year left. And there's 30 days left of the window?
Yeah, Savva, I think what I'm looking at this way is Bayern want that Champions League bad. And they're going to do anything to get it. Whereas Real Madrid, they're looking at the future. They want Mbappe. They can wait a year. Bayern want the Champions League bad now. And if you look at it now, who in their last year of their contract, or even if you are in a position, he is the most elite striker, apart from what's going on with Mbappe, obviously, that you can get.
Yeah.
He is the most elite. And if Bayern want it now, they know they win the Bundesliga unless Borussia Dortmund take them really, really close. One of the main reasons, obviously, Haaland came in was to help him win the Champions League. And look what they did. They moved heaven and all right, they had the release fee. But they did it. But they did it to win the Champions League, not to win the league. And I think that's solely why it's Bayern. Real Madrid probably think they've got a team big enough to win it, or all the other big teams. Bayern won it and won it bad. And look, you're not going to get more elite than Harry right now.
They do, Brian. But like Savva's right, though, right? Why isn't someone? Why aren't more people coming in for it? Surely, what is the attraction? Because there's other clubs. PSG haven't won it, and that you know, if Mbappe goes, there's a space there. Real Madrid, obviously, they've signed Bellingham. They've probably not got much money, but the Spanish government will probably lend them some. So, you know, that's what they've done with Barcelona or what have you.
But this is what I mean. When people say Real Madrid don't have the money, they find the money, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, Real Madrid and Barcelona find money for fun, don't they?
Real Madrid go into their boardroom, go down the back of the sofa and find 100 million. We go into the boardroom and we find like 20p.
Yeah, but Nick, Tin Legs Tony has just put it perfectly. Like I was just saying about the future and everything, whereas Bayern want it now, Real Madrid have just invested 100 million in their future with Jude Bellingham. That's what they'll do. They'll find 100 million.
True, but Brian, I'll ask this question to all of you guys. And again, I don't want to do a round robin. Everyone just chip in whenever you want. I look at Real Madrid at the moment, and Real Madrid have got brilliant defenders. They've got brilliant midfielders. Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo are excellent players. Have they got enough goals to wrestle the league title back from Barcelona? Now, we know what it's like in Spain. In England, you can get away with having a half a bad season. In Spain, the Hanky Chiefs come out, like getting gone, and they just lost the league to Barcelona, who had a very young team. And Barcelona haven't really lost anyone, right? So at the moment, I don't see Real Madrid taking that title back from Barcelona or winning a Champions League with the strikers they've got. I don't think they've got the goals. So I don't understand why they wouldn't come in for Harry Kane if, everything's a caveat in my world, Brian, if they don't get Mbappe.
Well, that's the thing, Kevin. I'll just answer this very quickly. I think that's what they look at. They go, do we, not sacrifice, that's the wrong word to use, but it's Real Madrid, Barcelona, but you know what I mean. Do they take that opportunity to say this year, listen, we're not going to spend 100 million on Kane, so we know we've got the money or whatever it's going to do to get Mbappe? Do you say for 1 year, for the greater good, I want to invest my money in someone that could give us, 8, 9 more years, as opposed to one person? Real Madrid signing Jude Bellingham is huge for them. I honestly think he's a superstar. That kid is incredible.
Couldn't they get Kane for 100 million this year and then Mbappe on a free next year? And then have Vinicius Junior, Kane and Mbappe? Like,
yeah, I just can't see him doing it.
It's a scary thought, isn't it?
Just a bit.
I think Mbappe will play up front. I don't think they put.
I think he'll play through the middle.
Yeah, I don't think they'll put him on the right or the left, wherever. I think they'll put him through the middle. So I think I agree with Brian. I think they will want to concentrate on Mbappe. That's the one. Remember, Mbappe's been linked with them for a minute now. It's not like all of a sudden. And he was almost close to do it until PSG did some phenomenal deal with him where he basically ran the club for them. That was the only reason why they kept him. But now I feel like it's so close. Why would they scupper that deal? Do you know what I'm saying? I think they're going to focus on Mbappe. And I think it's gone so far into the deal with Bayern Munich where Tuchel has been talking, well, according to sources, we don't know for sure, but it sounds like, they've had some type of conversation. I feel like Kane's kind of bought into the deal. I feel like he's open to it. It's just my personal feeling. I don't know if this is actually true, but I just see him going to Bayern Munich rather than any other club that hasn't put a bid in other than PSG. But we know that he doesn't want to go to PSG because he's not open. He's come out and said, he doesn't really want to go to the French league.
Can we be honest, though? If Real Madrid did put in a bid, there is no way. There is no way Harry Kane turns that down, right?
Yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
So just quickly, in other news today, Liverpool have just confirmed in the last hour that Virgil van Dijk is their new club captain with Trent Alexander-Arnold as their vice captain. Al Hilal have put in a miserly bid compared to their bid the other day for Mbappe. They've gone all the way down to 140 million euros for Victor Osimhen, who's only ever scored over 20 goals in one season in his career. 120 million pound bid for him. Osimhen Dembele looks like he's going to leave Barcelona and join PSG. Chelsea have just offered Levi Colwill a new contract. Chelsea have also put in a bid for Sanchez of Brighton. Crystal Palace have signed a player that they think is so good. They've put a clause in his contract that says that they have to pay an extra 5 million should he win the Ballon d'Or. It's all happening. It's all happening apart from Tottenham Hotspur. Aside from the Harry Kane piece at the moment, guys, I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling, as I'm sure everyone else is, to the point where I remember about 2-3 weeks ago, I remember saying to Henry and Sean on a show, it was like, oh, don't worry, we've got there's 40 days until our first game. We've got loads of times to bring in the players, bed them in. And then it was, there's 4 full weeks. Then it was, there's 21 days. You still got 3 or 4 friendlies. Now at the point where we're like, in about 4 hours' time, it will be 12 days until our first game of the season. And it really looks like we're going in with this really bad back four. I'm going to ask you guys, who is going to be the centre-back to play with? Do we all agree, first and foremost, just quick show of hands, we all agree that Christian Romero has one of those positions, yeah?
Yeah.
We'll agree. Okay, good. Christian Romero is the number one choice centre-back.
Yeah.
Do we all agree on who the other centre-back's going to be? Who is it? I have no idea. We've seen Tanganga start. We've seen Davis start. Dyer was made captain when he came on. That scares the bejesus out of me that could be our captain if Kane goes.
Yeah.
Where are we at, guys? Who is the favourite to start alongside Christian Romero? And how are we having this conversation?
Davies. I think it's Davies because he spoke up about Davies already, didn't he? You said he fancies him, but he did say as a fullback, to be fair, but he's left-footed, seems the most senior. He's talked about his system. What more can I say? Obviously, Dyer has been coming back from an injury, so he's had less minutes in the pre-season. Actually, to be fair, Davies hasn't had that much either, but
no one's had much, Ash. No one's had much.
No one's had any football.
Damn, yeah, you're right, man. It's crazy. I think Davies and then maybe Tanganga, because Tanganga's been getting a lot of game time. Well, he's played twice. The two games he started, we played. Sorry, he's featured. So, and the others only had like 45 minutes. So he's the younger out of the two. He has a lot more pace out of the two.
Who's this Tanganga?
Tanganga, yeah, he likes younger players. So I think maybe he might use Tanganga. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, no. Listen, I'm not shaking my head at you. I'm shaking my head at, or you could have said any name and I'm shaking my head. I mean, all right. So Ash is dying on the Ben Davies hill. Am I going with you? Okay. Ash is dying on this hill. I'm going to clip him on that. Ash wants Ben Davies to be our centre back for the next 5 years. Yeah. Barry, are you on the Ben Davies hill to die on? Is there a shout for Dyer? Does the Colombian Bambi, does he get another chance? Where are you at? Who's playing centre half for Christian Romero this year?
It's like playing a game of snog, marry, avoid, isn't it? Really.
I'm doing that in my head now about you three. You don't want to know the results.
My head is saying with the Dyer documentary that he's going to be there with the captain's armband on, just because you know this club is like that. And or part of me is then saying we're going to announce Longley, and Longley will be in there. So it's one of those two. I think if it's between Dyer and obviously Ash chose Davies, one of those will be captain of this football club. I guarantee it.
It is baffling. It is baffling. I mean, how long's Ben Davies been here? Was he 2014? The same as Dyer?
Yeah.
Or was he 2015?
No, Dyer came first.
Dyer came first.
Yeah, West Ham.
Dyer came first. They've been here since 1993, and they've just like put them in this room, and they've like built them up, and then they're like, oh, here we go, we'll bring them back out of the cryo chamber or something.
They were both on the bench the last time we won the FA Cup in 1991. Yeah. They've been here that long. They're
playing videos to them like, oh, we won trophies in this decade.
I mean, between them, Barry, I'm not sure if you can look this up for me, but I think between them, this season coming up, it will be 19 seasons between them at this football. 19.
So
Let that sink in.
Ben Davies was 2014.
Wow. So this is his 10th season?
Yeah, and Eric Dyer.
This is his 10th as well.
Eric Dyer was 2014 as well, yeah.
So both of them are coming up for their testimonial, and 20 years combined. I can only imagine that between them, they've had over 600 appearances in all competitions.
208 for Davies and 270 for Dyer.
That's league, isn't it? That's only league. Davies has played much more than 208 games for us, hasn't he? In 10 years.
I feel like Savva knows the answer.
No, I don't. I just feel like over 10 seasons, I'm pretty sure they've both played in multiple European campaigns, League Cup, FA Cup.
Yeah, definitely.
Look at this, Savva. Look at this. On the 23rd of July, Davies joined Spurs on a 5-year contract for an undisclosed fee. He joined on the same day as Michel Vorm, with Sigurdsson being exchanged as part of the deal.
Oh my God. And it's 2023 and they're still here. I'll find out the answer to the question in a second. Brian, sorry, Barry, so who were you going for at the back? You reckon it's going to be Dyer?
Dyer.
Okay.
Unfortunately, as captain as well.
So we've got Davies up here. Hang on. That way is Dyer. What are you going for, Mr. Daigle?
This is the question no one really wants to answer, is it? This is how bad it is that we're sitting here 2 weeks away from the season discussing which crap defender is going to play.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing here. That's the state of this football club. Which crap player? I am extremely concerned that Longley is coming back to this club, but if he is, people know what I'll be doing. I will be going absolutely nuclear. I don't think if he does come, he'll be in here in time for Brentford. It's just going to sound bad. I'm hoping, if it has to be one of those two, I'm hoping for Davies, but I think it might be Dyer.
Okay, just so you know, guys.
That's how bad it is.
So, Anyone, answers on a postcard. People in the chat, let's play this game. Put it in the chat, people. Between Davis and Dyer in all competitions for Tottenham Hotspur, how many appearances do you think they have had between them? Ash, I'll go to you. How many between them in all competitions? Give me a number, what you reckon?
550.
550. Brian, can I see 550? Are you going to raise it? Are you going to lower it?
I'm going to raise it up. I'm going to go 613.
613.
Yep.
Barry?
I'm gonna go above 614.
Above 614.
Well, because if it's above 613 and I go 614, then I win, surely.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm winning. I'm winning I've guessed right to the shittest question or the shittest competition in the world, no?
So
it's just crazy.
So between the two of them, right, they have played 672 games of football for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, guys, I'm just going to have a look at the other one. I'll chuck him in there for fun as well. Davinson Sanchez. Who would like to guess how many games Davinson, without Googling it, how many games has Davinson Sanchez played for Spurs in all competitions?
Okay.
A hard one. I don't know.
Across all competitions, you said, Savva, yeah?
Across all competitions, yeah.
Okay, I want to do Nick's game, so I'm going to go last.
Wow.
I'm going to say 113.
113. All right. Ash, how many games has Davinson Sanchez played? All comps.
100. I was going to say 50 at first. That was my first answer, but I'm going to change it to 130.
130?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll go 131, but I actually think I think it's closer to 170.
Okay. 170. The actual answer, just so you know, is Davinson Sanchez has played 142 league games. He has played 14 cup games, FA Cup, 13 League Cups, and 36 European games. That means
200.
He has played 205 games for this club. If you chuck in Tanganga's 50 and Longlay's nearly 40, between them, they have played 1,000 times for Tottenham Hotspur. Let that sink in. 1,000 times between those 5 centre-backs.
Well, it just goes to
it's
show the
disgusting.
state of this football club. It just goes to show the state. This is why people have a self-style and use that, and everyone do what we do, because we've been saying this kind of stuff is unacceptable. But like Simeon did with that tweet he did about centre-backs last week, it just goes to show exactly what you've done when you've just said that that bunch of defenders that have been okay at times but woeful for a majority have played and worn that lily white shirt 1,000 times.
1,000 times. 1,000 times, guys. Listen, I don't know why we did that. I think it just highlights how bad it is. And look, I want to move on, guys, from that. I mean, first of all, I feel like I really want to go and put some mouthwash in and gargle it around and that.
Savva, just to give it some, just to make it even worse, right?
Go on.
Jan Vertonghen, 315 appearances. Toby Alderweireld, 236. Sanchez is nearly up to is 20 games or so away from having the same amount of appearances as Toby Alderweireld. Oh my God.
It's absolutely baffling. I mean, with all of that said, guys, is anyone... So I know we know how Daniel Levy works. I know we do, but is anyone surprised that we're really bad in the market, but is anyone surprised at just how few have gone out? Like Harry Winks has gone. I at least thought a couple might have gone on loan. I at least thought maybe Davinson Sanchez to a Galatasaray or a Real Betis, maybe a Joe Rodon to a championship club, or Jed Spencer, Hugo Lloris, like Højbjerg's wanted by Atletico Madrid. Perisic apparently was wanted by, was it Hajduk Split or sorry, wherever he was originally from.
Yep.
Ash, I mean, for only Harry Winks to have gone, surely there's a word worse than incompetent or gross negligence. Surely this is beyond belief, isn't it?
You know what? I kind of blame myself because
Should we blame you instead of Levy?
No, I allowed myself to be tricked. I allowed myself to be roped in and believe that we were going to cut contracts up and we were going to get rid of all of these players.
Ash, you saw it earlier. Ash, you saw it earlier. Paul O'Keefe, 20th of May. In the next few days and weeks, they're going to announce several contracts torn up. The rebuild is ginormous. 20th of May.
This is
but people believe it. People believe it.
I sucked in. I said, well, you know what? It's going to change. I had a little bit of hope, a little bit of belief, even though we've been, I just thought because we've been so woeful at the back as well, everything, it needs to go bad before it gets better. I kind of bought into that whole kind of philosophy and I got sucked. I can't lie. I got sucked. And now look at me. Do you understand? But it's like, I don't know what to say. It's really bad. It's 2 weeks, no, less than 2 weeks until we actually start. And we still have people saying, calm down. It's not that bad. Me, I'm missing the thing where it's summer. I said, you know what? I'm trying to the season. I've got time to be sad. In 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks, I'll be upset with the result of Brentford and then Man United. I'll get there. But I said, right now, I don't want to add grays. I'm feeling the black hair at the moment. I'm looking great. I don't want to add no more wrinkles to the forehead. Because that's what the club will do to you. If you go along with it, it's just going to bring you down. I just said, no, you know what? I'm a positive person. This ain't me. So it's like, yeah.
I came out the womb positive. Then when I was 2, I was taken to a Spurs game. Since then, all that like nothing, man.
I looked as young as Ash when I started supporting Spurs, and that was only a couple of years ago. No, it wasn't. It was.
Do you know what? You have so much sleep. You should look younger and fresher than everyone on this panel. Just quickly, by the way, the disbelief from people in the comments at the numbers, people are absolutely baffled by those numbers. Sometimes you have to break things down, as Phil Barnett just said, and counting. That's the worrying thing. Nearly 1,000 games, and I think it's just shy of 1,000, and counting. Now, if you chuck in there the number of games that you will see Ryan Sessegnon as well. If you chuck in the number of games, even when you look at Sonny and Kane, they've been here forever. How can we have the same nucleus of players for 1,000 games? Smash the like button, people. Spurs fans of the tightest fans for smashing the likes. There's 798 people in this chat, and there are only 278 likes. It is free. It really helps. Please smash that like button. All you've got to do is just click it. Somebody in the chat will put the link. Please subscribe as well. Thank you to the 3 people that have since I last asked. It really is support. I appreciate your support, should I say. Ash, you were saying you blame yourself.
Yeah.
You try to be positive, but Barry, even us people, I think, for the couple of years I've known you and I've known Brian longer and whatever, even us really negative people, you're not real fans. You tell the truth. You're not real. Even we didn't think we'd be sitting here on the 31st of July when the window opened nearly 7 weeks ago saying only Harry Winks has departed this football club. It is absolutely baffling.
Yeah. You sat there and you've gone, Andy's taken everyone on the tour. Okay, fine. They've left Hugo at home to find another club, but he hasn't found another club. You've taken Jed Spence out there, but he's not played for whatever reason. Then they played yesterday at Leyton Orient or something. And Dombele gets injured on the preseason tour.
Sorry, Rodham and Spence were playing for Leyton Orient.
No, against Leyton Orient.
Oh,
there was a behind closed door. There was a behind. Maybe they were.
I bet they didn't stand out there either. Don't worry.
No. So look, we're all sat there when we saw the Madison thing, and then we saw Winks had gone the way for 8 million rising to 12 or whatever it was. We were like, oh my god, this is, it's the whole positive thing, right? But I just cannot believe with everything that's going on. And okay, I do think you made a point earlier. United needed a new keeper. They went and got a new keeper. I think they've massively overpaid for Rasmus Højlund or whatever his name is. They're paying for that potential. 15 months ago, he was playing in the Danish B League or whatever it is.
But do you know what, Barry? The difference between clubs like Man United and us, when Spurs fans say we've overpaid or they've overpaid for a player, we will overpay for a player and keep him in our squad for 1,000 games, right? They will overpay. One of two things happens. He either realizes his potential that everyone's saying he's got and is brilliant and everyone goes, wow, they were great, or it doesn't work and then they go and buy someone else. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like they've got, listen, United are a big football club. Look at their signings in the last 2 years for Ten Hag. Onana, Rasmus Højlund, Mason Mount, possibly Amrabat, Anthony, Casemiro, Ericsson, Malacia, the centre-half. Martinez. Like, sorry, I interrupt. Sorry, I hate Spurs. Sorry.
No. It's Savva, you're right. And you've even got, Chelsea playing Fantasy Manager last year, and they're doing what they're doing it, and then they were getting rid of it. How, they always do good business. They'll get rid of them, and they'll get prices from like crazy prices from, and I think, if we're going in for someone that's young and on a punt, we're offering them a bag of crisps and a skywalk. That's what we're offering them. It's just mad. It's just mad.
It is madness. By the way, people, don't worry. When everyone puts in the chats that super chats have been missed, they've never been missed. I'll tell you what, StreamYard are so good to us that they automatically store them for us so that we can read them out in one go. Donna Cullen is in the chat. Big up, Donna, looking as radiant as ever. Donna said one day, this account said one day I would wake up lying next to this person. So, I mean, don't take that how you will.
Might be on a slab in a morgue, Savva. That might be more likely than actually in your bed.
Me, Donna Cullen, and a big horse head on the side of me. Kane will sign a deal with Spurs. # Cullen Power. Good to see. Where is your revenue today? You put in revenue from different places, but thank you very much, Donna. Loves music. I said, doesn't matter how many he scores, our defence. Exactly. No point keeping Kane. We can't keep clean sheets. G. Ordemic. Oh, I've just realised. Don't take the piss. I've just realised. Geordie Mick.
Geordie Mick is a new channel member. Big up, Geordie Mick.
Sorry.
Live TV, people. Live TV.
I'm so embarrassed. I've gone. Oh, God, I feel really embarrassed that I just did that. Geordie Mick, the Brazilian version of Geordie Mick. Sorry.
You'll never forget that name now. You'll never forget that member.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. As I said, from next week, we will be doing channel member-only shows. Can you play centre-half, Geordie Mick? If you can, come and play for Spurs. Where were we? Sorry, guys. That completely threw me. Brian, have your say.
Do you know what? I've got going out. I've got to go now. Classes you're going to do now. I've got dinner, but there's just a couple of things I just need to very quickly say. Obviously, I announced yesterday with the protest group that on Sunday we are doing our protest at the Donetsk game, but it's only about match day ticket price. There is no other things going on. There is no agenda. This is a topic that hits everyone. That aren't season ticket holders having to pay prices. So we will be opposite the club shop at the normal time. And the final thing I will say is tomorrow morning at some point, I will be going live with Stell on Tottenham away because there will be huge game-changing news coming out regarding all things protest. And I do mean game-changing. Huge. And it's going to be discussed on Tottenham away when Stell decides to go live tomorrow morning. trust me when I say all protesters or anyone that's Levy out, there is a game changer.
Don't you go live at my 10 a.m. slot?
It's not much. It depends when the news is going to get broke.
I'll be messaging Stel right now.
there will be news breaking. We got to wait on one thing, but trust me, for anyone that is a Levy out protester or has wanted to protest, big game-changing news.
Can we all guess what it is? Can we all take a guess on the panel of what it is?
You all have it. Okay, you can all have one guess, and if you get it, I'll tell you, but I guarantee you're not going to get it.
I reckon it's that Ange Postecoglou is joining the protest.
Wish. That's right. You had one guess, and I would have told you the truth, and you've blown it on one of those wishes. Like, I want a million more wishes. Ashmatic.
Oh boy. I don't know. It could be anything.
There you
go.
Chris Cowling is joining you.
Yeah, there's my answer.
That's not it. Nick.
Well, we'll raise you on that. Chris Cowling and Ricky Sachs and the whole of Last Word on Spurs are going to be there with you on Sunday.
No, they're not. So you all had a guess. You got it wrong. There is massive news tomorrow. Keep an eye on Tottenham away. Game changer for the Levy out protest. And on that note, Savva, thank you for having me on. Ashmatic, brother, always a pleasure. Nick, speak to you soon. And as always, Levy out.
Cheers, mate. And on that note, Rob Sears has said, game changer my arse. Fans will be protesting, drinking a Beavertown brew. Levy joining. Joe Lewis is going to fund the protest against himself. Tadare is too cheap. I'll text you, Brian. Protesting naked, Dingo Year has said. Look, Ash, let's bring this back to football after a couple of minutes of silliness with Geordie Mick and naked protesting. I keep asking these questions, people, and every week nothing changes. By the weekend, by the game on Sunday, do you expect to see any incomings and any outgoings in the next 6 days?
I think it all depends on the whole Kane situation. If there's any movement on Kane, I think that's kind of like a roulette on transfers happening. It would make more sense for them to get business done now before any Kane situation happens.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to be all of a sudden, I don't know, bullied in the market and every player that we go for is overinflated. So it makes sense for us to be holding up the deal, as either you or Barry said earlier, to get those players in and then sell the Kane, because the other way around for me just makes absolutely no sense. But then we're dealing with this board, and when has it ever made sense? So the answer to your question, sorry, I think there is a possibility. I don't think it will happen because of it's been how long now and nothing's happened. I genuinely thought before we left, we're going to get at least one centre back in to join the preseason tour, to get used to the players, the manager, But it just seems like we're just doing this whole lowballing, waiting it out, trying to drive the price down. And I think a lot of teams have wised up, and it doesn't always work. That method doesn't always get you the results that you want. And we're now seeing that as fans, or we've been seeing that as fans before. It's not the first time this happens, but as a result of it, we're all frustrated because, we've got every other team is building, they're getting their team, their squad assembled. And we're just out here dilly-dallying. We knew the biggest part of our fix was the centre-backs. Just like last season, we knew the right wing-back situation was the problem. But yet again, we're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, I listen, I agree with you. I think the worrying thing, Barry, is that it's not like we've got our fingers in loads of pies. It's not like we're sitting here going, okay, well, that deal could happen. We've got a bid there. We've got a bid here. Like when you look at the news that breaks through from a club like Chelsea and you go, they're talking to Caicedo over here, this defender over here, and you think, okay, what's going to happen? Oh, that one didn't work. These two did. As far as I'm aware, we haven't got a solid bid in for anyone. Like even when we had a solid bid in for Davinson Sanchez, did it ever get officially rejected? Like, did we ever hear that Sanchez had said no to Spartak Moscow? It just sort of fizzled away, as did the Lo Celso interest and the Perisic interest and the Atletico Madrid in Højbjerg interest. Isn't that what's more worrying, that we don't even seem close to anything?
Yeah, that is the worry, because it's the drip feeding of everything else, and then all of a sudden something else will happen. I mean, obviously, last week we had the whole Joe Lewis and everything else, right? We were all going to bed, or whatever it was, Thursday last week, and then we all of a sudden our phones were just exploding with everything that was going on, right? And I just think everything, it's the PR and it's the media and it's the communication, and everything just seems to be, just give them a little bit, get them excited, get them in, and then something else happens that's going to be kind of like a curveball that takes the attention away, or there's a bit of deflection. This whole thing today, it's Monday, nothing's going to happen. Get to a point where something else will happen, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, to do with something else that will then take our our focus away. Then it'll come. Then we'll be like, oh, it's Sunday's game. Then it'll be Kane on the pitch saying how much he loves his club. Yeah, and it's in the hands of. And then it'll be some videos of the players in trade. Like, did you see yesterday the number of videos they put out? Oh, Basuma looked sharp in training. He did a little Cruyff turn and scored a goal. Yeah. Okay. I've never had so. Who takes a video of me at work? Don't take a video of me at work. No. Like, why are we seeing videos of that? Like, this is the problem, isn't it, guys? That it's in the last week we've had, look at our official bag sponsor for our flights. Like, it was Sunny with a bag, and look, we're sponsored by these guys. Then it was, here's our formal wear sponsor. Then I got through an email from Spurs the other day, which was 3 for 2 on something at the club shop. Then it was, buy tickets for Shakhtar Donetsk. It's everything, Ash. But what is needed, like, listen, I know I sound like a broken record, and I have probably for about 15, 16 years, but it's boxing, it's NFL, it's concerts, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's Joe Lewis, it's, Paratici, it's Jay-Z's buying the club, this, Kane, that, everything but the one thing that makes a football team better, which is signing good footballers. It's everything. If you did a pie chart, it would be all of these big blocks of colour and then this tiny little sliver of new signings.
Yeah, I think it's crazy because the other clubs, they sign players so quickly and so fast. I won't even talk about Chelsea anymore. I look at like a club that's going over us, in my opinion, Aston Villa. Yeah. Aston Villa just came along, saw a centre-back that we were linked with. Obviously, I know, the centre-back had ties with the manager before, but nonetheless, he was able to go to his previous club and dip in. Yep. I thought that was the bare minimum. I thought Ange would go maybe Celtic. Maybe that's not the level, but at least go for one of the players that performed for him in his shirt, that knows his system and grabs him in a position that we need, we perceive that we know needs fixing, and we would do that business at least. If it's not even a defender, at least get like a player that Ange wants that he knows. Do you know what I'm saying? So we haven't dipped into that market.
Like one of their centre mids or one of their forwards or just something, right? One of their fullbacks, somebody who knows the system, wouldn't cost a bomb. And fans might moan, but you go, well, the manager knows him, right?
For me, it's like, I feel like one of those kids at school that, you're getting picked and then like everyone else is getting picked and you're the one last. You're like, oh, this is a bit awkward. Like, you're looking around, oh man, because every other club is just moving like, it's like an extra injection of money has gone into the league. And I just feel like even Palace, like they're on stuff, they're doing bits. Brighton are doing what Brighton do. Bournemouth is doing bits. So I'm just like, I'm no longer worried about, your Liverpool, United's, Arsenal, Chelsea. I'm now worrying about the teams that were ahead of us last season. So it's mad to me. Like, where the biggest problem is, but we're just moving like mad slow. We're not doing anything about it. We're just letting it carry on. And I would have thought after all that toxicity, all that Levy out chants, the balloons, the protesting, even on like Sky Sports, like every debate show, Talk Sport, everything was going towards Levy out. So I thought they would have done extra to kind of appease the fans.
Right.
But it's like, it doesn't matter. We could finish 8th, we could finish 10th, 12th,
17th.
We'd still get, but Ash, we'd still get the like Savva says, I've never seen so many notifications on my Spurs app, right?
It's
and
mental.
22 minutes ago, there's a tweet of Son scoring a goal in training from the edge of the area. Well, surely that's his job. And they've put a rocket and tagged Sonny in it. And then 3 hours ago, we're back home this week. See you on Sunday. How out of sync is this football club with the way that they communicate with their fans and their audience and everything else?
I'm just watching the goal now. I won't show it because of copyright, but it's literally Son getting the ball, beating a static cutout, whipping it into the back of the net. Like, wow, footballer scores goal with no defenders in front of him. What are we doing here? Like, Ash, you summed it up perfectly.
Like, for me,
perfectly. No, go on, man. You're right.
Listen, like, Levy had this whole, PR thing with the whole Cambridge, sitting down with them, chatting, trying to be a bit closer to the fans, whatever, seeing a bit more human. Some people ate it up, not everyone did. And then there was a fan advisory where these fans were picked, but I just don't understand what are they saying now? Because I feel like there's enough of us now that are unsavory, what's going on about the transfer window. Are they asking for patience, or are some of them up in arms? Are they getting together? Like, I don't, like, you guys tell me. I don't know what's going on. What's the purpose of them? In times of need, when you need the people that represent us to kind of speak up and kind of make a stand. I'm not saying they should go protesting if that's not what they want to do, but I'm saying, shouldn't they get together as an online community and make something happen and say, look, unless they're happy with it, maybe they're happy. I don't know.
Ash, do you know what, right? Listen, I've said this before, and everyone accuses me then of being an Aston Villa fan. I use Aston Villa and Brighton as an example. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh my God, they've surpassed us massively, because they've only just overtaken us in terms of the league. But if you strip back league position, forget that, right? On Henry's show the other day, Ash, he brought up 2 teams, right, from the 2017-2018 season, where Brighton and Aston Villa played each other in the Championship, right? They didn't even both get promoted that season, right? Championship. And it showed the teams they had then versus the team they've had now. Bearing in mind, they were Championship football clubs. In that same time, the next year, Spurs got to a Champions League final. Right, so I'm not teaching you history, but Spurs get to the Champions League final, right? These 2 clubs are in the Championship. And in that 4 years since the Champions League final, those 2 clubs have managed to implement good managers with good philosophies, back their managers with a cohesive, coherent plan, buy really well, scout really well, and look much better than Tottenham Hotspur. Now, I'm not saying we're going to finish below both those teams. I think we might, but I'm not saying it's 100%. But when you look at context, which everyone knows I love the word context, from where they were 4 years ago to where they are now, they've both done that without any superstars, because Villa had to sell Jack Grealish for £100 million. They've not done it with any superstars whilst we've had Kane, whilst we've had Son, right? We're going like this. They're going like this. And fans go to me, oh, we're a much bigger club. Okay. Can we act like it? Because I saw Villa go out and go in less than 4 days for Pau Torres. How much? 32 million euros plus add-ons. Done. Sorry, Moussa Diaby. How much? First bid. Second bid. 7 days later, wrapped up. Done. Whilst fighting off pressure from Saudi Arabia. I see him Brighton go, all right, we wanted Colwill, too expensive. All right, cool. Let's go and get Igor from Fiorentina, who clearly they would have been scouting. Done. Right? James Milner, good experience to help them in their European campaign, to help the younger players. Done. Yao Pedro, done. Dahoud from Dortmund, done. How are these clubs, guys, acting like proper football clubs? But we moved, sorry, I'm in a rant, Ash, right? We moved to this spaceship stadium thing to do the complete opposite of what we're doing right now. These clubs have nowhere near that revenue. These clubs haven't qualified for the Champions League for how long, and they're able to run properly. And we're sitting here with Winks going out, a free transfer coming in, a cheap goalkeeper, and a bloke that, listen, I love Maddison, but a bloke that was relegated and had 1 year left on his contract. I'm fuming about that. Sorry, rant over. Sorry, done.
Just
Back in
tell
the
us
room.
how you really feel, Savva.
But this,
You're right.
When I bring it up, Barry, I get, oh, you're really overhyping those clubs. Context.
Do you know what'd be really funny? That all of a sudden something happens to Vicario in training and Hugo's in goal against Brentford.
Don't. Just don't. But do you see what I mean, though, Barry? You see what I mean about? I mean, Brighton is one example. Villa's another example. Brentford, who 2 years ago were in the Championship, 2 years ago, just slowly but surely building. So how are we so bad?
Because it's like I said, the style of negotiating, I just feel like it's dated, and he literally wants to draw out these deals, hoping that these clubs panic because they're thinking, oh my goodness, no other clubs are coming in. Like, let's just accept what Levy's offered us or what Tottenham have offered us, and let's accept the bid. He's trying to do the lowball, but it's not working because what's happening is other teams are picking up momentum. They're fixing the holes. They see what is needed to be done, and they're just building. They're building and building.
But just sensibly, though. Sensibly, they're not going out and spending crazy money. Sensibly, 32 million euros for Pau Torres.
Yeah. The argument's not about money at the moment. It's just the activity, the actions, and priorities. We're not prioritizing. Even if we are prioritizing it, it's like nothing's happening. It's just gone completely dead quiet. Look how long we've been linked with Mickey van der Ven and Tapsoba. Look how long it's been. It's been over a month, no? And nothing.
Yeah.
So, like, when you're frustrated, when I'm frustrated, when other fans are frustrated, it's not like we're being frustrated for like we're being impatient or we're being unfair. It's because this is not the first time this has happened. It's happened many a season. It's just that the players changed. So it's not like you guys, man, why are you complaining again? It'll be all right. Let's just wait until the window slams shut. Let's wait until the first game at Brentford's played. It's just because we can see it a little bit earlier than others. And that's the reason why we're more or less saying, doom and
I think,
gloom.
Ash, I think the thing is as well, and someone put it in the comments, it's not the heart and soul has been ripped out of the football club since the new stadium has been there. I remember going to White Hart Lane, and the atmosphere, and all right, it wasn't pretty, but you were on top of the players. You got chills when the crowd was roaring. You don't get that now, and the trouble is, people will still go if people like obviously Savva doesn't go because that's his. He doesn't want to give a penny to Levy and Enoch and everything else, right? But the Man U, Liverpool and Sheffield United. Okay, you take Man U and Liverpool because you think that's going to sell out. Sold out in 30 minutes, all those three games. On top of that, the Shakhtar game on Sunday, they weren't opening the top tier. They opened the top tier because they saw the demand for the three Premier League games. There's 700 tickets left for Sunday's game. Selling out a stadium, okay, granted the tickets are cheaper than the Premier League games, but to sell out a stadium for and I know why we've probably done it because we've probably got some deals. If we sell the stadium out, we'll give you a fiver for every 20,000 tickets sold or whatever it is towards Manor Solomon or whatever the agreement is or non-agreement. And I actually think that the Daniel Levy and the board are sat there going, you know, all that noise about prices going up a couple of weeks ago. We should have put them up more. We should have put them up even more because they're still paying it. They're still coming through the door.
Yeah,
they're still going to come in the ground and spend money.
Just to add to that as well, I think it's a different demographic. And I've said this in other streams before. I feel like the working class man is completely getting pushed out right now. The person that, you know, used to go to the games, the original, I call them the original fans, because these are new fans, let's face it.
Yeah.
The new fans that live in London that can afford these upper prices. They're a different breed. They're not like, I'm not saying they haven't got passion, but no, fuck it. You know, they ain't got the passion like the old fans. They're not going to be singing like how we sang in the grounds previously. And I think that's coming back onto your point, the whole heart and soul, Phil, it's all gone. It's like WizKid.
It has.
It's all about commercial business. It's all about money. It's all about the moolah and how much, you know, they can collect from this machine.
I think that's the thing. Listen, we've got 9 minutes left, guys, and I just wanted, for the last 9 minutes, I just wanted to talk about. Well, I want to talk about something else, but I just want to quickly add in. I think that's the biggest thing for me is when I used to go to White Hart Lane, going off the back of what Barry was saying. It didn't matter if we were terrible or we were brilliant or whatever. I just felt connected to the football club. Yeah. This stadium for me has done the complete opposite of what I think most fans. I didn't think it would do it. I was always against it. I don't think this stadium has done what anyone thought it was going to do. I think it has, if anything, it has made us come out with more and more excuses. We should be doing. Do you know what? We shouldn't even be doing what Brighton and Villa are doing. We should be doing way more than what Brighton and Villa are doing in the transfer market. We should be doing what Chelsea are doing in the transfer market. Now, I want to talk about this. This could affect the Harry Kane deal, people. So Fabrizio Romano, can you all see that? Hopefully everyone can see that. Fabrizio Romano has just said this. Chelsea are now back in talks with Juventus through intermediaries. Swap deal between Romelu Lukaku and Dusan Vlahovic has been discussed again. Chelsea will discuss with Vlahovic internally as this option has been rejected in July. Now, the reason I think that is interesting, guys, is because he is one of the ones on Bayern Munich's list.
Yeah.
Should they not get Harry Kane? I also think it would be a really good signing for Chelsea, by the way. I think Vlahovic under Pochettino would be a very good signing with Nkunku by one side of him and Jackson and Mudryk and all that. But could this force Bayern Munich's hand to have to, if they don't get Vlahovic, if Chelsea do, could this force Bayern Munich's hand a bit more to bring it all full circle?
I mean, sorry, I don't know what you're going for, but it's a mad one because come January and they haven't done the deal, it's still in Bayern Munich's favour and Kane's favour because he can still go on a free. He's leaving regardless. I think that's where you're going with it because we don't really, like, as Spurs fans, they just want him to stay. Us Spurs fans want Kane to stay, right? But Kane ain't signing. He's not signing. I can't. Why would I? There's people. I think what fans might think is between now and January, we'll somehow cook and get inside the top four. Like we're gonna go on a mad run, and you might be top of the league. Like, is that what we're saying? And then Kane sees that, and then all of a sudden, like. Remember,
he changes his mind, and
remember we've been top of the league before at around Christmas before. So for Kane, that's not going to be in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying I don't think it's enough. Do you know what I'm saying? And in January, he's got a pre-agreement to whoever he wants to go. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So
the issue is that we're still going to be a mess until January, right? So, and obviously. Yes, what are we going to be holding on to? A quarter final or a semi final in the Carabao Cup, and Kane's going to be like, "Oh yes, I'm going to change my mind." You know, that's the only option because the FA Cup doesn't kick off until then. They've got a mid-season break in January. Is he really going to be hanging on for a League Cup that he could go and win at Bayern? And like we were saying, he can go and win that, go and win the German Cup, go and win the league, go and potentially win the Champions League. What is
I'm saying? Does it really help us that Vlahovic is going to go to Chelsea, and then all of a sudden the ball's in our court. But I'm like, really, is it? I don't know. I think it's in Kane's court, to be fair.
But this is the thing, Ash. I mean, listen. When I put out a comment, like you guys, as YouTubers, when you put out something on YouTube, you're going to get loads of comments back. And loads of the comments I get back are, you know what, let's take the risk. He might go on a free, but if he sees we're doing bits next year, and it's like, sorry, what bits do these people see us doing next year? We've got a defense that have shown for a decade they can't defend, right? We've got a squad that isn't even in Europe. What is it that people think will happen in 1 year or even in 6 months, as you said, Ash, to make Kane go, you know what? Maybe I was a bit hasty. I do want to stay.
Sorry to cut you, Savva, again.
It's madness.
It's the romanticism. Like, it's the fan in us. You can't help it. You just see what it could be with Kane and Maddison. Everybody wants to see Kane and Maddison. Let's not get twisted. They think the link up between Maddison and Kane is going to be crazy because Maddison's going to be assisting the goals and Kane's going to be scoring way more, like Bayern was saying, like way more than 30. But I just feel like with Ange's system, it's slightly changed now where goals are coming from everywhere. So it might not always be going through Kane. Like in previous seasons, when we've had Mourinho, we've had Conte, it's always going through Kane. But within this new system, it might not necessarily do that. And as I said before, we need someone that's a bit more mobile, that's going to press from the top. And it might be a different player that does that in that system. So Kane might not be banging those goals, in my opinion. I don't know. But yeah, go on. Sorry, Seth.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, listen, I agree with you. I just can't believe that anything can happen in 6 months that Harry Kane has not already seen. Like people go, oh, if we get back in the Champions League, he'll stay. Why? He's been in the Champions League plenty of times with us and never seen us kick on. For those that can't read this is quite small. Ben Jacobs has tweeted and said this: Bayern consider today's meeting with Spurs quite positive, simply due to the level of detail discussed. However, there remains a significant gulf in valuation. Bayern trying for a total package of £80 million, unlikely to be enough. Bayern indicated they'll make a new offer. They will ask Kane to put the pressure on Spurs after it. Still no agreement close. Spurs-Bayern talks will continue this week. Bayern may be able to go higher than originally planned after selling Sadio Mane on preferable payment terms. Now, just for the last couple of minutes, that could add to it, couldn't it? Sadio Mane is having medicals, right? And is due to be unveiled as one of the Saudi Arabian team. I don't know. Something.
I don't know. One of them.
Oh, yeah. One of them. One of the teams that are just spending billions on football players. So this could, I mean, look, depending on who you believe, this is just going to rumble on all week, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
It's going to rumble on.
No way. This is Levy.
He'll be there. He'll be there on Sunday in some shape or form. He'll be there on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely.
With Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I
think of anything. He's the way that this is being set up now on Monday. They're doing this. They want Kane to put pressure on. I don't think publicly Kane will put pressure on. Maybe they will behind closed doors. Whoever surely at some point Kane's walking in and going, Daniel, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Do me a solid. Come on.
Come on, mate. Seriously, man. I've given my blood, sweat, and tears this club.
Yeah.
I've scored 30 goals in that rubbish team last season.
Yeah.
Please just give me something, And he's got the old jump. And what did you come in here for, Harry? Oh, yeah, you'll be starting on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, boss.
Listen, guys, I am about to go live with Henry and I don't want to eat into another YouTuber's show. So, listen, we are going to wrap it up there. Listen, some great discussion. Guys and girls, there's 740 of you in here. On your way out, smash that like button. On your way out, smash the subscribe button. Only 6 people bothered to subscribe. From 740 of you, there must be at least 10 to 15 people who have not subscribed. Subscribe to Ashmatic at Southview Coys. Subscribe to Barry at Shelfside Spur. I have redirected you all without you knowing all the way to Henry's channel. Please join us for that. Just before I go, I've got to read these out. Dunkelsdorp, thank you for the support. Always a big supporter of the channel. Has become a channel member. As I said, there will be channel member only shows from next week. Phil P has said Spurs act like a homeless bloke in an Armani suit. Wonderful description, to be brutally honest with you. Thank you, Phil. Always a big supporter of all the channels. And David J. Bisco has said Levy is pricing fans out. He wants a corporate stadium without fans demanding signings using the Y word, booing and cheering.
Yeah,
absolutely. Which is why, David, I'll get in trouble with this, which is why I've always said protesting for me won't do anything. That's just for me, but there's a big announcement tomorrow, apparently. So let's wait and see. Guys, thanks, Ash. Thanks, Barry. Really appreciate it, guys. Much love. As always, Leanick out.